The Babe led the Bombers to their first World Championship in 1923.
Strike three, a no-hitter, a perfect game for John Lawson.
Reggie Jackson his third home run of the game.
Hayes makes the catch. The Yankees win.
The Yankees are back on top. World champions for the 27th time.
Still had a little burn from the year before, where we didn't win in '97.
We didn't start so good. It was like 1-4.
Well, I just remember hearing all the whispers about Joe Torre's job being in jeopardy after the 1-4 start, and thinking, wow, this team won the World Series 2 years ago, and he's already in trouble. Obviously, they turned it around in pretty stupendous fashion.
They steamrolled their way through the season, winning 114 games. It was then an American League record.
That team just had everything going for it. Strong pitching, strong offense, good defense, leadership. There really wasn't anything that team couldn't do.
You know, that was that magical season. I think that was as perfect, or close to perfect, that a team could be. Everybody was healthy, everybody had good years, and we just got used to winning like it was going to happen, and it did.
I knew we had a good group because in '98, like I said, we had won the division pretty much in April, it seemed like. You know, we had such a huge lead, but that particular group wanted to win each and every day. And I don't think you can say the same about a lot of teams, but we wanted to win. We expected perfection, and it's the reason why we were able to win that many times.
The Yankees had 4 players hit over 300, and 10 players reached double digits in home runs. Center fielder Bernie Williams won the American League batting title with a .339 average, and Derek Jeter led all of Major League Baseball with 151 singles while scoring an AL best 127 runs.
I had a special staff. The starters were doing their job. The bullpen was doing its job, and of course we had Mo in the ninth.
Pitching wins games. You know, you get a starter, get out there, 6-7 innings, and you know obviously you're going to bring the bullpen.
We had Coney, I think, won 20 games that year. I won 18. To have a pitching staff like that, you know, that's what you want. We worked quick. You know, we got our run support that we needed, finished them off.
I think the bullpen itself was just perfectly molded together. We had Mo to finish it off, of course, and we had Stanton and Nelly and Ramiro Mendoza, all these guys that had come in and just do their job right at the right time.
Joe Torre used us in certain situations that we could succeed, and we felt like we want to win this thing, and you take a lot of pride going out there and doing it for your team.
I remember Joe Torre talking about that '98 team and saying they had to win a World Series title because if they didn't, everything about that season would have been looked upon as a failure. And it's a pretty harsh way to talk about a team that won as often as that team did, but that was really the honest way to view it. They had just plowed through the competition throughout 1998.
You win 114 during the regular season, and everybody starts comparing you to the greatest Yankee teams ever.
Probably as much pressure as we felt as a team to win because we had won so many games coming into it, and it means nothing unless you win the World Series. You get to the World Series with these huge numbers, but unless you win it, everybody remembers the San Diego Padres winning the World Series and not the Yankees.
For us, we knew we were a good club, but we knew we had to prove it on the biggest stage.
Yeah, game one I think is always important. Every game is important, but you'd like to set the tone, especially playing at home. You want to win at home. And especially game one.
Well, just remember how intense it was. Every pitch was as if like it was the last out of the ninth inning.
The Padres came into Yankee Stadium and they looked like they were ready to play.
Kevin Brown completely shut us down the beginning of the game. We got behind.
They kind of jumped up on us early in that first game, and you have to protect home field advantage if you can during a World Series.
Ripped down the right field line at the track at the wall. And Tony Gwynn goes deep.
The Yankees were trailing by 3 runs in the 7th inning of Game 1. Chuck Knobloch tied the score with a 3-run homer.
Swung on and drove deep to left. Did he get enough? Ball back at the wall. He leaps. See ya! Home run, Chuck Knobloch. And the Yankees have tied the game at 5.
And the Yankees kept the rally alive, loading the bases for Tino Martinez.
You talk to people around the Padres and Langston, he'll tell you that there was a strike in there, that he had really struck out Tino Martinez.
The umpire considered low to the delight of Yankees fans because Langston tried almost the same pitch and brought it up a little bit higher.
And the 3-2. Swung on and drilled deep to right. There it goes. That ball is gone. A grand slam into the upper deck for Tino Martinez. And the Yankees lead 9-5.
He hits that ball out of the stadium, and the place just goes berserk.
The noise that again, the ground shaking noise of old Yankee Stadium.
That was probably the loudest I heard Yankee Stadium ever.
What an exciting way to start, the World Series.
Yeah, you might be able to get out to a little bit of a lead against us, but we're going to come right back and we're going to show you what we're made of. That's what those Yankees did.
I don't know if you can call it a turning point because we just started, but it was a huge moment in that World Series.
It was key. Tino Martinez with a big grand slam off of Mark Langston. The fans, to get the Yankee Stadium fans into the game, it was incredible, and it was very important to win that Game 1.
The next day at the stadium, the Yankees built a 7-run lead by the third inning. And at that point, you began to think that this series might not go very long.
Swung on and drilled to deep right center field. It is high, it is far, it is gone!
Well, when you think about postseason pitchers who have really excelled for the Yankees, El Duque is a guy who comes near the top of that list.
Put a guy named El Duque in that lineup, in that rotation. He had no fear.
El Duque is a smart pitcher. He really understands hitters well. He goes through scouting reports really, really well.
And then when he was out there on the mound, I just imagine as a hitter, he was a guy who could totally confuse you. He was going to go at his pace. There were going to be different arm angles. He was going to throw different pitches at different speeds. And he was also an incredible competitor.
I think if anybody was going to go out there with the confidence that they could go out there and really throw the big game the Yankees needed, it was El Duque. He loved that limelight and really thrived in it.
And one of the best games that he's ever pitched, certainly in the playoff situation or the World Series. And, that's a game that people will always remember.
I was a little disappointed, actually, because, it was a close game, and I'd had, I think, 5 no-hit innings, or, I'd gotten off to a decent start, and then all of a sudden I gave up a few hits, and Tony Gwynn really got me. Went down and got a splitter and hit a big double down the right field line that scored a couple runs, and all of a sudden San Diego was back up.
2-0, Padres!
Scott Brosius was an interesting guy when he came over to the Yankees because he had been so down with the A's. You didn't know exactly what the Yankees were getting.
We were going to try him at third and hope it worked. But if not, the fallback was he would be our super utility player. And boy, did we get more than that.
Such a good defender, very underrated defensive third baseman. He made remarkable plays. He was so solid for us defensively. And all the pressure was off of him offensively because we had a great lineup. He could bat down on the bottom of the order and be productive.
But the way he played was just totally unexpected, first of all. But everyone knew he was capable of doing it.
Just showed you how good our team was and how much depth we had, that someone like Scott would be hitting ninth and actually was our best player in that World Series.
3-2, deep to left field, way back. 375, goodbye home run. Scott Brosius. What a season he is having. It will not stop. And the Yankee third baseman puts them on the board. It's 3-1.
For Brosius to be able to do what he did, it just capped for him what had to be an unbelievably memorable season.
Scott Brosius last year, when the Oakland A's had a terrible season, came home to the Yankees and just turned his career around.
Brosius, center field, got a lot of it. Finley back, 405, goodbye home run! Unbelievable! Scott Brosius! And the Yankees have taken a 5-3 lead.
I remember the second home run off Hoffman, straight away center field. I didn't think it was going to go out, and it went out. And we got up, and it was super exciting to do that, especially in San Diego.
I was actually in the dugout after pitching in that game, and to see that ball go over the center field fence was amazing.
When you have days like that, that's that's incredible. When you can, contribute like that, be a one-man wrecking crew. And that was Scott Brosius.
Mariano Rivera entered the game with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th and proceeded to record the final 5 outs, securing a 5-4 victory for the Yankees and pushing the Padres to the brink of elimination. Scott Brocious was the hero as he went 3 for 4 with 2 crucial home runs and 4 RBI.
You can win one more game and you got the championships. But it's anything can happen in baseball.
Well, after winning the first 3 games in the World Series, then we had Andy Pettitte on the mound again. And, you know, if there's any go-to guy, you know, it sounds like a broken record.
Pettitte started the game and, you know, pitched very strong into the latter part of the game, as he always does in a big game. He's really a big game pitcher. Once you get you know, into the 8th inning, you don't like to do it every day, but in a game like that, certainly in a playoff situation, you go to Mo.
2-strike count. Sweeney waiting. Swung on to third base. Scott Brocious, probable MVP. The Yankees are world champions. They have shut out the San Diego Padres 3-0. The New York Yankees, the best team in baseball, now has the title officially. A 125-win season, putting together the regular season and the postseason.
We had accomplished what Mr. Steinbrenner had, you know, his vision for that year was to build a team that was going to win the World Series.
To be able to come back in '98 and at the end of the year look up and we had 125 wins total, that to me just solidified the '96 championship, now the '98 championship, and from that point we really felt like this team can do a lot.
Ricky Leday hit 610 World Series at-bats, while Tino Martinez and Chuck Knobloch hit 385 and 375 respectively, each with a clutch home run in Game 1. Scott Brocious was named the World Series MVP as he led the Yankees with 8 hits, 2 home runs, and 6 RBI.
Well, if you're Joe Torre and you have the ability to put Andy Pettitte, David Cone, David Wells, and El Duque on the mound for you in the postseason, you should feel as if you're going to win that series. Their starting pitchers were able to just totally shut down the Padres. These two teams, though they were the best in each's respective leagues, the Yankees were much better, and in that series, their pitching showed why.
Winning 125 games and only losing at 50 to win it all, it just tells you how good that team was.
In '98, you know, we proved that we had the best ball club, that we were not a fluke.
Even to this day, when you talk about the greatest teams of all time, you talk about the 27 Yankees, you talk about the 98 Yankees. Those are the two that probably get the most votes.
You did hear people start to whisper about dynasty a little bit. You heard people think, well, maybe if they can keep these guys together, they can start to move in a direction where maybe they can win another one. Maybe they can win another one after that.
And that's one of the Yankees' strengths, is to get 25 guys knowing that you're expected to win the World Series, not just knowing you're expected to go out and have a good year. When you go with that attitude, you put yourself in a position to get back to the same spot. And what happens in the World Series, obviously, we became very good at it because we became accustomed to playing those games.